My name is Bob Brucker. I'm the founder and president of AgeWise Colorado. Barbara Boyer is our executive director. She's in one of these squares here somewhere. And I'm going to be introducing our panelists in just a moment. I think what I need to do next, though, is change this to the gallery. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just flip through a few short introductory material, and then I'm going to turn this over to Karen Brown, who is going to be moderating our panel today. So this, as you can see from the screen here, today's webinar is focused on if you're over age 50 and looking for work, whether it's paid or unpaid, we're going to give you some helpful hints about and ideas about how to do that. This is our 51st educational webinar since we started these things in September of 2021. And so they're all recorded, they're all on our website and on our YouTube channel, of course. This shows that, we're a member of these several organizations. We just joined the AARP's Age Tech Collaborative last week, actually. The Financial Justice Coalition is also a fairly new entity. It's housed under the University of Denver's Noble Institute for Healthy Aging, and its focus is on helping people stop scams and fraud and, what to do when you do fall victim. And then, of course, we're a part of the Colorado Gives Network, along with a few thousand other folks. So I'm going to skip over this one. These are our speakers today. I'll come back to that here in just a moment. Just a little bit of background about who we are at AgeWise Colorado. We're here to serve aging Coloradans and the caregivers of today and tomorrow. And our mission is pretty simple. We're all about connecting the roughly 3 million people in Colorado who are roughly over the age of 40. It could be 35. Whatever that number works for being a family caregiver, and all older adults in Colorado as well, to connecting them to vetted service providers, reliable information. We have a lot of really great information and free educational events, webinars like today. And this is just a screenshot of our homepage, so you get an idea what that looks like. Please check it out and spend some time exploring. You'll find a lot of great information on there. So now I'm going to introduce our speakers. Karen Brown is our moderator. She's a leading advocate for our 50-plus workforce and aging in general. And Teresa Falagrady is the program administrator for the Denver Economic Development and Opportunity Group. She helps people find jobs, over the age of 50. And Laura Kinder is the director of Empowering Aging and Senior Companion Program at Spark the Change Colorado, which is a volunteer recruitment organization. So anybody interested in volunteering, Spark the Change is a good place to go. And Tanya Scott and Tiara Smith are both recruiters and program specialists at the National Experience Workforce Solutions, which is now called New Solutions. They're based out of Washington, D.C., and they deal with federal employees and federal programs. So they'll be telling us about that. So now I'm going to turn this over to Karen and let her begin.
Very good. Well, thanks so much, Bob. You all are going to have just a really wonderful experience learning about each one of these programs. These are programs that I personally am familiar with. I've actually been through Teresa's training. I've certainly been on Laura's website, and I have met with various people from New West Solutions and talked to them about their specific programs. And as we all know, one of the things that we found here in Colorado through a special survey, the CASOA, a survey of more than 175,000 older adults of high interest for older adults, is the opportunity to be engaged, connected with the community, and or to seek workforce opportunities to continue to secure or retain work. So more than a third of the population of the people that responded said, I am looking for workforce opportunities. I am looking to get back into the workforce. Hey, how do I connect and engage for volunteer opportunities? So what you're going to hear today is a little bit more about these specific things. We're going to actually start out with Laura, who's going to talk a little bit about the volunteer side of the equation. We'll move it into Tiara and Tanya, who are going to split their time and tell us about a couple of different programs at New West. And then Teresa will close up with her comparable Back to Work 50 Plus, which is not the correct wording, but you'll correct me, Teresa, training program. And then I'll share just a little bit about something called the Age Inclusive Management Strategies Project that was active in Colorado, may be active again. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Laura. Oh, the one thing I would ask is that could we hold questions until all the speakers have had a chance to present? We'll have about 10 to 12 minutes at the end for Q&A. So if you could do that, that would be great. Or put them in the chat. That would be good too. So Laura, I'm going to turn it over to you right now.
Great, thank you. And I am going to share my screen. So thank you for that warm welcome, both Bob and Karen. Spark the Change Colorado is all about volunteerism. Our mission is to spark change and inspire a movement of good through the power of volunteerism, service, and civic engagement. And I will be, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to click to the next slide and I'm not seeing.
Try enter.
Try enter. I'm sorry. There we go. So I'm going to share this way so I don't take up any more time with technical issues. Volunteering is unpaid, but it's totally fulfilling. It's also known as pro bono work, mentoring, coaching, service, community engagement, and change making. And why volunteer? It's to add purpose to your life. A lot of people say, I give back to the community. It's fighting isolation and loneliness on your part. It's putting more of the things that you love in your life. If you love animals, you can volunteer for a humane society or a wild animal sanctuary. If you love art, you can be a docent at one of the museums. It's definitely, and here I'm going to make the connection to job seekers. You learn new skills in new environments, and those environments are usually very safe. And if you wanted to learn how to write a grant, put together a marketing campaign, learn AI, it's great to be able to volunteer and learn those skills. And once again, it is adding to your lived experience. If you are an accountant and you're looking to do a job switch and your passion is addressing food insecurity, you can work for volunteer with a food bank and get that experience that you need. And it definitely can enhance your resume. There's many aspects to volunteering, and the top tier is our national federal programs. I'll talk a little bit more about the Peace Corps National Service. It's also through our government, through the states, through cities and counties, like the Government Commission on Aging. It's our also considered with our nonprofits, being on a board of director advisory councils, being on their fundraising committee. It's also about sporadic one-time events and then ongoing events. It's also volunteering and serving through your faith-based organization. And it's also as simple as just plain neighboring. And I will just briefly talk about each of these entities and how it might connect you to career change or just enhancing your resumes. The Peace Corps is at the very top. It's national service, but it's international. It is through the federal government. And you can go to pretty much a country of your choice, and you can be doing whatever it is that you would like to be doing, whether that is literacy, working on climate change and things like that. It generally is a 2-year commitment. You're awarded a living wage that is comparable to the community you're serving in. They cover travel costs. And then after you, and also transition funds. So once you come back and you're here in the States, how to transfer back into our communities. It offers a non-competitive employment with the federal government. Many, many more benefits, and I have the website there. Under national service, there's AmeriCorps. All of these programs are open for people who are 18 years and older. There's not an upper age limit. AmeriCorps has state and national. It would be, once again, going in and doing hands-on work in the community. Once again, whether that's addressing literacy, food insecurity, whatever it might be. There's a living allowance. There is also an education award for yourself after your term. It can be transferred to one of your family members. And after your service, you have access to 600 employers of national service. There is also the VISTA program. Instead of doing hands-on work in this program, you're actually building capacity for the organization that you are serving with. Living allowance, professional development, an education award, or 1,800 cash stipend, and a non-competitive employment with the federal government. The next three programs, there is an age eligibility. You need to be 55 plus or better. And all three programs offer mileage reimbursement, meals during times of service. And the three programs would be RSVP. You would be volunteering. It could be with that Meals on Wheels organization. It could be tutoring in your schools. And so you may or may not be required to do a background check. On the next two programs, the foster grandparent program and the senior companion program, there is a modest stipend that is given for your hourly service. So there is an income eligibility requirement, and that's making no more than 200% of the poverty level. In 2024, that level is just about 30,000 annually. You are background checked, National Sex Offender, and then CBI, FBI, fingerprint. Foster grandparent, you're working with young children, helping them learn math, reading skills. In the senior companion program, one that's near and dear to my heart, you are serving isolated older adults, transferring them to and from the grocery store to medical appointments, or just serving them in their homes. Many of our clients are visually impaired, so you might be reading to them, going through mail for them, preparing light meals. The next thing that I want to talk about, wait a minute, I skipped some slides here, is our government commission, advisory councils, and subgroup work committees. There are many workforce development boards. So once again, doing the oversight there. I don't know how many of you have served on a board of directors, but you are basically providing oversight and insight to the organizations, and really at the level where you are seeing that they are sustainable. So it is a huge responsibility. There are many different choices where you can be serving. I have the Colorado Commission on Aging. I'm on the Colorado Suicide Prevention Department subgroup committee, older adults. If you and the environment is something near and dear to you, there's mosquito control advisory boards. The last one on this list also is near and dear to my heart. It was the Colorado Strategic Planning Action Group on Aging. Started in 2019, and that is where I met my fellow people on the panel, Teresa and Karen. And here we are 5 years later, still serving together. That is such a blessing. And once again, going to nonprofit boards of directors, once again, you have that high level foresight, oversight, and insight. You're kind of in the crow's nest of the boat. You're looking on the horizon and you're seeing either storms that you might need to navigate around, or rainbows that you want to head towards, because it's going to be good things for the organization. Again, a lot of different what you are passionate about, whether that's the American Red Cross or Friends of Laurie State Park, Senior Companion. We're definitely looking for advisory board members. And if you've never served on a board, many nonprofits, including Spark the Change, offer introductions to board service. We have 2 sessions coming up in July and October if you are interested in that. Moving on to the sporadic and ongoing volunteer activities. Many on the national level, we have Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service and also 9/11 Day of Service. Many of our local nonprofits will have days of, it may be as simple as marching in an MLK Day parade. Or it could, with 9/11, it could be rebuilding different neighborhoods and such. Other one-time events I have listed here, but there's a whole wealth of opportunities definitely on our website if you'd like to look at that. But everything from noxious weed removal of a campground to an extreme community makeover. The ongoing positions would be where you would be volunteering once a week or once a month. So some ongoing activities, and I have the city of Westminster is looking for a pickleball instructor. So if pickleball is something that you love to do, why not help other people learn the game? There's also food bag delivery with Jeffco Eats. The last 2 forms of activity that I'd like to talk about are, of course, our faith-based, such as being a choir member, a Bible school teacher, setting up for the pujas, maintaining temple grounds, going on missions, counseling and grieving members, calling on people who are sick. And also then we go to neighboring, and this is definitely something that I think probably all of us have participated in one way or another. The most formal kind of neighboring is serving on a homeowners association, but the others may happen if your neighbor is sick or they're recovering from surgery, they just had a baby, it's an older adult, or it's someone that has a disability. The things that you might be helping with would be shoveling snow, mowing lawns, bringing in the mail, watching kids, sharing those meals. And in times of disaster, I think it's so important for us to be checking in on our neighbors, making sure that they are aware of definitely one, that there is evacuation going on, there's a tornado coming in, but just seeing how they are doing, and certainly on a routine basis is wonderful. My last slide, I'm going into conclusion. I don't know, Karen, if I just rush through this too much. I hope people will ask me questions. Volunteering is such a fulfilling part of life, and it definitely can help when you are out seeking jobs, as that added experience, as well as I don't want to, making your resume stand out from many others. So contact information, and please visit our website. We have a wealth of volunteer opportunities. Thank you. And Karen, I hand this back over to you.
Great, Laura. And actually, Laura, I would ask that you put your email address in the chat in case people want to get a hold of you directly, and maybe put your website in the chat too. That gives people kind of that. A lot of people like to scan while they're listening and whatever. And I would actually add, 2 of the things that Laura talked about. One was serving on commissions. I can tell you at the state level, there are more than 350 commissions, and they are always looking for people. They are always looking for people who have an interest and want to serve. And so just certainly be aware of that. And quite frankly, as people get older, oftentimes they'll be working and volunteering. So this isn't an either or, oftentimes it's a combined opportunity. I am going to go right over to Tiara and Tanya, and I don't know which one of you wants to start out. But again, we're going to have them talk a little bit about New Solutions and the programs that they have available there. So if you could take your slide off the screen, Laura, that would be great. Then we could have, so Tara or Tanya, which one of you wants to go first?
I'm going to share, but Tanya's going to speak first.
Oh, okay, very good. Thank you. Mhm.
And can you guys see everything okay? Right.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
all good. You have a lot of glare on your face, Tara.
No, I've been trying to fix the blinds while while Laura
Oh,
was.
okay, all right, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, Tanya.
You're
on
just
mute.
radiant today, Tiara, that's all.
Here's my glow.
Thank you, Karen, and Bob. We're just so very grateful to be here today. With such a great organization like AgeWise, you just have a plethora of resources and information to provide to people and at different life stages, and volunteering after maybe taking care of your loved ones, your older loved ones long term, and then not quite ready to get into the workforce. So that is a great presentation to lead us right into what New Solutions does. So again, I'm Tanya Scott, and I am one of the recruiters from New Solutions. I'm being joined today by my colleague and fellow recruiter, Tiara Smith. So it's going to be our pleasure to introduce you to our organization, New Solutions, and let you know what it does and talk a little bit about the type of jobs that we have for individuals who are at least 55 years old. Next slide. New Solutions is a national nonprofit founded in 1997. Our mission has always been to promote experienced workers as a valuable and critical component of this nation's workforce. So we strive to encourage an age-diverse workforce by expanding employment opportunities that support our federal agencies. We proudly recruit experienced workers that are able to work on site and even remotely and in these federal agencies. And I'll highlight some of those agencies in the coming slides. Next slide, please. So by now, after hearing that, probably some of you have a few questions that are starting to formulate in your mind about New Solutions and our positions. So I wanted to go over some of the typical questions that people ask about our organization and our positions. When you hear the word supporting federal agencies, the next logical question is this federal employment? And no, these are not federal positions. Participants and workers that are in the programs are not considered contractors or employees of New Solutions or of the agency that they support. Instead, participants are considered enrollees in a federal grants program. And who can apply? As I mentioned, these are federal grants. So a stipulation of the grant is that you have to be at least 55 years old, and then, of course, meet the skills requirements of the positions that you're applying for. You do not have to be a federal employee as long as you can meet those requirements. And then how are enrollees paid? So you're given an hourly wage, and just a note, you are selected by the federal agency which you are applying to and not by New Solutions. but you're given an hourly wage, and in most circumstances, there are benefits. And some of the benefits do include health insurance for those enrollees who are working 30 hours or more a week, whether it's through simply one position or a combination of positions. Also, accrued sick leave is another benefit. And then certain programs do offer you, in addition to those, additional vacation time as well as holiday pay. So some of the benefits do vary by program, and we would love to tell you more about those programs if you have questions. So are these full or part-time positions? They're both, and it really varies based on what that federal office needs at the time. How long do the positions last? Well, some are project-based. So once the project is completed, then the position ends. But typically, they're long-term positions that are set forth by the amount of hours that the agency budgeted for. For example, they may have budgeted for a position that works an average of 20 hours a week part-time, and up to 200 maximum hours in this example. But many of the positions continue because the federal office still needs support. But of course, that is all based on federal funds and external factors that are going on with that federal agency. Do these jobs lead to federal employment? Well, it's not the intention of this program, but yes, it does occasionally happen where an enrollee is hired directly by the federal agency after a specified period of time. How long does it take to get into your program? So once you apply, the recruiters go through the recs and submit those applicants to the agency to review. And then the agency makes a determination as to which of those applicants they want to contact to schedule an interview. So that can range from a short amount of time to a large amount of time, depending on that federal agency's demands. For example, last year I had an agency that was focused on putting out fires, so it took them a little bit longer to review the candidates that I sent them. But once you start the process, once you're selected, it can range anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned earlier, we started out in 1997. We had just one agency that we supported, and that was the EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency. We administered the SEA program. And as you can see through the years, starting in 2005, our agency really grew with bringing on additional agencies and programs. I'll detail them in the next slide. Next slide. So under the overarching master agencies, we have the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Department of Interior, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the U.S. Department of Labor. Under the Department of Agriculture, we have 6 different programs that are Experienced Worker Programs, or EPA. We also have 2 SEA programs under this agency. And then under the Department of Interior, we also have 6 programs and 6 different Experienced Services Programs, or ESP programs. Now, for the Environmental Protection Agency, as I just mentioned a minute ago, we have the Senior Environmental Employment Program, or as it is commonly referred to, the SEA program. With the U.S. Department of Labor, we have the Senior Community Service Employment Program, or as it is most commonly referred to, the CSEP program. So in these next couple of slides, Tiara and I will highlight just a few of the programs. And these are the programs with the largest presence in Colorado so that it is relevant to you. And if you find this information useful, hopefully you will share it with your family, friends, and neighbors, as well as check out our job site and be able to apply. So first, I want to highlight BLM. Next slide, please. BLM stands for the Bureau of Land Management. Currently, we have over 180 active enrollees, so that is the number of people over 55 working, supporting the Bureau either remotely or on-site. Now, we currently have 25 total enrollees that live in Colorado, yet support a BLM office remotely from home. So a couple of interesting facts about BLM. They were established in 1946, and it is the nation's largest land manager. We also have a BLM enrollee planned and organized a community waste tire event to collect 1,701 tires that were removed and recycled. NPS is our other agency. We currently have 185 enrollees and 13 of those from Colorado supporting the agency. Now I will turn it over to Tiara.
Thanks, Tanya. So I'm just going to run through a couple more programs and then our application process really quickly. NRCS ACES, we now work with 2 different programs through their Agricultural Conservation Experience Services program, or also known as ACES. The Natural Resources Conservation Service is NRCS, is one of those programs along with the U.S. Forest Services. Currently, we have 506 active enrollees in NRCS with 12 working in or from Colorado. I almost said next slide, please. So the EPAC program, that is the Senior Environmental Employment Program, and this one is close to my heart. I work mainly with the C. As Tanya mentioned before, the C program was the first program that we signed with New Solutions, and it's actually the first program that was catered towards 55 and older federal support workers. This started in the late 70s as a pilot program, and it went so well that it was signed into legislature. All of the other agencies model their programs after the C. And currently, out of our 275 enrollees, we have 56 in or from Colorado. Here are examples of position types that we have posted to our website right now. You can see that the positions range from administrative, inspectors, engineers, grants, and budget specialists. Positions and skill sets will vary based on the needs of each agency. New Solutions posts new positions daily on our website, so check often for updates. One thing to note is that these vacancies are open until filled and do not have closing dates. Here's a quick overview of our application process. Once you visit our website, you can review positions based on program or based on state. Create your profile, upload a resume and cover letter, which we do recommend. You'll then be screened by a New Solutions recruiter and potentially an interview with the agency. If that agency selects you as a new enrollee, then you will go through the selection and background check. A few things that we ask that you have prepared when applying: just confirmation that you're 55 or older, and that is a question on our application, 2 to 3 professional references, a resume, and a cover letter. Additional information and partnerships that we have. CSEP is a really good one that we work with, as well as Back to Work 50 Plus with the AARP Foundation. Both are programs that our enrollees find very, very helpful, whether they find a position with us or not. Last, if you would like to get in touch with someone on our team for more information, you can reach out to recruiters at newsolutions.org or call us directly, 703-558-4200. And again, our website for those job openings, newsolutions.org/jobs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiara and Tanya. And actually, I would ask that you also could you put your website link in the chat, as well as, you know, the email address that you want people to reach out. And I can actually tell you that today, before the session, I went online to see what kind of jobs you have. I know that my husband is working full time, but he's trying to think, what will he do when he leaves his position? And working for the USGS or the BLM, he's going, oh, how fun could that be? You know, so I really, and I was amazed to see the kind of opportunities that do exist. And it seemed like there's a pretty wide range of hourly compensation. So probably a function of the skill set that people bring to the table. But
Yeah.
if you guys would just be sure to put your information in the chat, that would be great. And we're going to go ahead and move on to Teresa, and she's going to share more about what she has actually created for the city of
Yes.
Denver.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Bob, for inviting me here to let people know about Workforce 50 Plus. I always like letting people know about this because I think some people don't as well, just like new solutions. So let me see if I can share my screen here. You can see it now, is that correct?
Not yet.
Should be coming up. Nope.
No, maybe try one more time. Just
Let me try this one.
there you go.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I hope this works. Thanks. So, as Karen said, I'm with the Denver Economic Development and Opportunity Denver Workforce Development Division, and I brought a program to the city. I've been with the city 8 years, and we started the program about 6. This is our 6th year. So what is it? Let me start out with some talking about aging real quick. So you see these 3 people. We know that the world is aging. Who of us isn't? But we're trying to get people into positions. We're trying to get employers to see people that they're still viable workers. The woman who's 68 looks pretty hip, looks professional, looks confident. J-Lo, you know, few of us can do that pole stuff at 54 or any age, but at least she's still working. And then Morgan Freeman, of course, an esteemed actor at 86, made some changes, has some cool shades and earrings, and is still a viable worker in the workforce. So we want to do a little bit about that in Workforce 50 Plus. What is it? It started in 2018. We used to partner with the AARP Foundation, and a few years ago, we divested and we have our own program called Workforce 50 Plus. Our first cohort was in 2019. The goal has always been the same, and that is to provide older workers who are experienced, of course, with resources and skills necessary to find employment. The current number of job seekers I have in my whole program now is about 350. I have opened it up to the entire state. And many of the people who are joining are from El Paso and Larimer and Boulder counties, interestingly enough, in addition to Denver Metro. The average age is about 61, and I'm seeing some trends toward this younger age. A year, 2, 3, 4 years ago, it was at least 62. So there are more people in their 50s now needing some extra oomph, some extra skills to get back into the workforce. The jobs that they're looking for varied. Any and all they're looking for. However, most want full-time professional positions. Not all. I do have a few people, actually several, who don't want those positions that are associated with pizza in the break room and those acronyms that we all have to abide by. They just want a job that's fulfilling and community-based. And so we have that for them as well. We provide resources for them. So what is our programming? It's 2-pronged. The first part is job coaching, and it starts off with a program overview where I give some strategies on how to re-enter the workforce and some practical tips. And then it goes into week-long job coaching for a cohort with subject matter experts, and I'll let you know about those areas in a minute. They also provide one-to-one coaching if the job seeker asks for it. And then I offer some topical webinars throughout the year, usually 1 or 2 a month in areas that people have requested. So what is the job coaching? What are the topic areas? Older workers tell me they need more help in networking. You know, when we were on during the COVID time, it was hard to network online, but we had to do it. And we perhaps are not accustomed to networking in person either. So we have some strategies to help you with that. Resume and cover letter writing, always necessary, always necessary. A lot of my folks have only had 1 or 2 jobs in their entire work history, and they haven't written a resume in that long. So they need extra help in finding out what the current trends are. I have a woman from one of our community colleges who provides educational upskilling. So certificates in certain areas, if people maybe don't want a director or high-level position anymore, they want to be more collaborative, but they don't know where exactly, what industry. So she provides a lot of options for them so they can whet their appetites. We have a woman who owns her own business. She's in her mid-70s and she provides our self-marketing through LinkedIn, does a fabulous job of how to highlight yourself and your skills on LinkedIn, because employers, we know, do check that. Tech for non-techies, I have quite a few people who are so good with tech, really good. But there is a large number too of people who really need more than just the basic. We know at least 75% of jobs these days, and in the future will need at least an intermediate understanding of how to use technology beyond just Microsoft Office. So we provide just a background of what people can expect re-entering the workforce. And then the last day, it culminates with Q&A with HR professionals, where job seekers can get really down and dirty and ask those questions that perhaps they weren't able to before. Get a hold of HR people about salary, about how to answer interviewing questions, about what questions they themselves can answer the interviewers. That's really a real good session. They all are, but that one is especially good. All of our, I don't think I mentioned, all of our mini trainings are online. We used to be all in person, but since COVID, we have become all online now. For the second part of Workforce 50+ programming, I provide various topic webinars throughout the month, usually 1 or 2, and you can see from the screen what we've offered, and so many more than this. This is just a few. Training funding, if you want to finish a degree, there's always some monies available. Interviewing online, transferring your skills. As I mentioned, a lot of people don't necessarily want a job with a lot of responsibility anymore, and they just want to be a supportive partner. Retirement planning, social media, home sharing, paths to teaching. I will be offering that next month, 2 of them on teaching, different ways that you can enter the education field. AI, this was really cool. I had 3 professors from Metropolitan State University come and talk to our job seekers about some of the roles and jobs that AI will almost insinuate itself into, and how you can train for those. So that was very interesting. Entrepreneurship, that was another good one. A woman invented this gizmo for laundry, and she went on Shark Tank and secured herself a loan. So she talked about the process of opening her own business and securing that loan and becoming a viable entrepreneur. That was very successful as well. And if anyone signs up for our webinars, I put their name on my distribution list, and I send out job opportunities. I have quite a few connections. I mean, these kinds of webinars with Laura and Tiara and Karen and everyone. So I might see a job opening and I send it out to people. I also send congratulatory notes to people when they let me know they found a position. They don't always, but when they do. I do send those out, and I'd like to share one of those with you. This gentleman, when I asked them if they have in fact found work, he came to one of our sessions at the beginning, probably 5 years ago. He was 66 at the time. He was a high-level sales and marketing guy, got laid off, and went through our program. And I asked him, Lloyd, what do you know what you want to do? And he said, yes, I want to teach middle school science. Oh, okay. Most people don't have quite that specific vision. So I was glad. So I connected him with a colleague of mine at the Department of Education, and he received an alternative teaching license. And he did get a job in teaching middle school science. I think he's still in Douglas County. But I asked him, what did you do? What did you do as an experienced worker who's been laid off, has degrees, whatever? What did you do for yourself? And he said, another area in which I learned a great deal was how to fight ageism in today's marketplace. Yes, a lot of employees say they value experience and they talk the talk, but do they really walk the walk? I'm not so sure. So in addition to shaving off my goatee for job interviews, I also made a couple of other changes. I no longer carry a briefcase type computer bag, but use a backpack instead. So of course, he's going to be teaching in middle school. He has to kind of look the part. I thought that was pretty cool. Also, I only go back about 15 or so years on my resume and list my jobs under the heading of selected employment history. And so this was really important too. When we talk about resume writing, we have a lot of experience. We've lived a lot of years, but you can't put everything. You can't put everything that you've ever done in your whole work life on your resume. So he found a way. We talked about it in our 50 plus seminars, and he found a way to make it work. So I hope that if you are looking for work, or if you know of someone who is looking for work, please let them know about Workforce 50 Plus, and I'll put my name and number in the chat. You can email me or call me anytime. I'd be glad to get you connected. Thank you again.
Great. Thank you so much, Teresa.
You
And, you know, I
bet.
think it's really important for people to remember that, like you said, Teresa, sometimes people are in jobs wanting to search or find a new career. I think there are many instances where people have actually left the workforce and are thinking, you know, I've been out for a couple of years, and now I thought it was going to be more exciting. I thought I was going to be doing more, and now they want to get back in. And so being able to go through a program like yours, I think is so critical. And even for those people, I mean, I can even point to my older brother who at 66 had been in a management position at Lowe's, and he consciously chose to leave, took a job at a small organization, doubled his money, got out of management altogether. He said, I don't want to deal with management. I don't want to have to, like, no, you do all that. I just come to work every day. I do my job. I go home every night. I don't have to worry about it. So just so many opportunities and changes for people as they age. You know, we actually do have about 6 minutes left. Do we have any questions? Anybody have any questions for our presenters? Dave, was this new to you? Were you familiar with all these programs?
Yeah, this was new to me. I mean, my job is to be an information and resource person for older folks, and I am an older folk, so it kind of hits on both ends here. But honestly, yeah, 2 out of the 3 organizations I didn't know about, and it's really, really helpful. I really appreciate your time and learning about it, so I can pass this on, because I do get people who are looking for work here in Jeffco and don't know quite where to turn. And some of them are on the younger side, you know, that 50, 60. I'm thinking of the volunteers we have here at the community center, that some of them are looking to do more than necessarily volunteer and get a job that pays a little bit, especially with the economy being what it is and how people are getting squeezed at both ends of it. So yeah, thank you very much. This has been really, really good for me. Thank you.
Great. And Linda, Debbie, or hi, is that, that may not be the correct pronunciation. Any questions, any comments? No? No questions. Very good. Well, again, great information. I think that everybody, oh, Teresa, did you have a question?
Yes, Dave, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind putting your email address in the chat, and I will send you my information on the next couple of webinars that I am going to be sponsoring, both of which talk about paid positions in education, 2 different areas of education, and maybe some of your people would care to join them. So I'd be glad to send you information.
Consider it done.
Well, Bob, did you have any closing comments that you wanted to share about the wonderful opportunity to get better connected to AgeWise Colorado?
We have so many wonderful opportunities to get
Right.
connected. If you go to our website and you can click on there's a menu item at the top that says get involved. You can click on that and go to another one that says volunteer. So we have volunteer opportunities. And if you don't see anything on the list that you're particularly interested in, but you have something else you'd like to do, there's an other button. Just click that and tell us what you'd like to do. So yes, we're always on the lookout for volunteers. So Barbara and I would both appreciate that very much. So many things that you can do, all from home too, for the most part. So.
Any
And
closing
I
comments?
want to join Karen in thanking all of our panelists today. I mean, I learned a lot. I mean, I always do when we have these, and today was no exception. So thank you all very much for your participation. And this will be on our website soon, and then we'll let folks know when it's ready. Thank you.